Huh, that's interesting. Looks like I might be taking it apart again. Hey everybody, welcome to a new video. This is Chris at The Lone Tinkerer. I got a new video for you guys today. I'm gonna recap this one a little bit. I'm working on a ADA MP1 effects processor. It's from the 1980s. I've owned it since it was new. And I'm gonna summarize this video a little bit, and then I'll start going into some of the details and some of the troubleshooting that I did. Also, as part of this, I have the replacement of the, I guess we'll call it a CMOS memory battery that is part of this unit, and when it goes dead, some interesting things happen, which I'll go into a little bit more in the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a summary of the repair process that I went through for fixing the LED display on the front. So this has an issue where the LED or certain segments of the LEDs will stop working, and it's necessary to fix them. So there's solder connections that can fail and they need to be resoldered. So I'm going to talk about where I'm at with this and then continue with the repair, and hopefully this takes care of the repair itself. I've cut so these yellow pieces here you can see it's double-sided tape. I cut through that with a utility knife. It's very stiff, so it was very easy to cut through. And the issue is, I think with this, is these solder connections in here have a break in them somewhere, or they've just gotten old enough that they've cracked. So what I started to do is, so I've got this off, and that's when I realized that I could solder these pins here without taking the pins through the board. So I'll show you on the back here. So I already, these top two rows here, I removed most of the solder so that I could pull this ribbon connector out. In the past, I have heated these up to reflow the solder, hoping that it would take care of the issue. And it must have worked for a while. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have much memory of doing this work. It must have been me because I'm the only one who's owned it. So I guess it's possible I took it somewhere, but I don't remember doing anything with that. So what I'm going to do now is examine these connections on the front, because the connections on the back, like I said, I had resoldered those in the past. So I'm going to look at these and see if I can see anything, and if I see something, I'll let you know. I don't have a macro lens for my camera, so I'm not going to be able to show you. I think this is probably about as close as I can get and still have it be in focus. Okay, these connections have a lot of flux on them. I can't see in there very well. I might sand these a little bit and see if I can see anything. But for now, everything looks dull. So I'll also get some better magnification and some better lighting so I can look at this a little bit more closely. All right, so I didn't see anything in here that looked like a bad solder connection. But I'm going to heat them back up anyway and reflow them. So hopefully that, if there is a problem with a bad solder junction, then hopefully this will resolve it. There was a lot of flux on here. I don't remember if I mentioned that in the video or not. But yeah, there was a bunch of flux on here, which is good, I guess. So I removed all the flux so I could see the connections a little bit better. And like I said, now I'm just going in and reflowing the connections. So I'm going to go ahead and do both of these ribbon cables, even though the one was not exhibiting problems. I kind of hate to work on something and make it worse by trying to fix something that's not broken, but by the same token, it could, you know, I've had this thing apart now, and I've bent these connectors up and down, and it could cause these other connections to go bad. So I'm going to go ahead and fix those up as well. I am putting a little bit of new solder on here as well. And I'm making sure to heat not only the solder pad, but the pin itself that's coming through. Okay, so I resoldered the pins that I showed you there, and I'm going to go ahead and resolder these on the back. I won't film that. You kind of get the idea. But one thing I did notice is that these pins do have connections on the other side of the board, so I'm going to have to make sure that I get these hot enough and that I get enough solder on these so that it will go through up to the other side. And what's a good thing about having this apart now is I can actually see those pads, so I should be able to see if there's solder on them, and if there's enough that it should be making a good connection. All right, so I got everything cleaned up the best I think I can. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and see if it's working again. Or if I made it worse. Okay, the segments appear to be working. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this back together again. I've got some double-sided tape. I cleaned up the connections on here. I'll get some rubbing alcohol and probably clean off the rest of the tape. It came off fairly easily, so I'll go ahead and just put this back together. I guess one thing I'll try too is I'm going to bend this back in place first and make sure it still works after I've bent those ribbon cables. I kind of hate bending those ribbon cables. I was afraid they were like these, that they were just kind of like a foil inside or something, but this actually does have wires. So I'm a little bit more hopeful that the wires will bend and not have an issue. So there we go. So this is the side before I started, and you can see this side, I've got it cleaned up. Same thing on here, I cleaned off the foam, and then on this side I need to clean off the rest of the foam. Got some double-sided tape to put this display back in. Alright, I got my double-sided tape in here. I have a feeling my tape might be too old. I may have to go in and redo this. I'm not going to button this thing back up this time just because it takes so long to take all the screws out. So I'm going to leave it apart when I get done with it and use it for a while that way and make sure that everything is okay again before I put it back together for good. Okay, let's plug it in once more, see what we get. Looks like we got all of our elements that we're supposed to have. Not missing any segments. I guess we can do one thing here real quick. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to rack this back up with no covers and see how things go. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more content like this, hit subscribe and tell your friends. So this video is a wrap-up of fixing an LED problem, fixing an LED missing sections, and getting it all to work again. If you have this problem yourself, hopefully this video helped you to get your unit fixed up again. So this wouldn't help you if your LED display itself fails. It sounds like they can wear out, and this may not help you if that's the case. So once again, thanks for watching.